This video is going to be done for two different reasons. One of them is to just record what's going on, just as like a way of keeping a journal, because it's faster than writing. I tend to write a lot too when I actually get the chance to do it, but you know, this way is faster. Two, there's other people who are worth a damn. In fact, you're worth more than a damn. Way more. And those people, they like videos, and apparently people claim that I've helped them a lot. And some of you have helped me a lot. It goes both ways. What would doing videos be, and what would, you know, really sharing anything be without having somebody to give that to, and somebody to appreciate it? Like, imagine the hell of, like, you know, your wildest dreams come true, and, you know, you find out you created all this amazing stuff, like every cool movie, every cool song, everything you've ever wanted. But then you're left in a place with it all by yourself, and oh my God, what a synchronicity. I had no idea this was going to be here. This looks like a magic card. Yep. Oh no, Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh my God, this is from childhood. My friends and I used to collect these. I've been finding Pokemon cards on the, in some strange places too. I'll have to read this later. I'm gonna hold on to it. So, funny thing real quick, I recently got back into Pokemon, even with everything going on, just while I was traveling. It was something I did during my backpacking trip. And I came up with a really, really simplistic way to play using the original Pokemon, to play the card game. And I would love to see a world where people start doing this stuff again. Like, actually, I've been seeing a lot more people on bikes and scooters and skateboards and things like that. Because nobody can hardly afford the gas anyway, right? But, well, no normal person can, who actually has, like, a soul. Because you're not going to be working your whole life away just to afford this crap. That would be, what's that called? Mental illness would be the right term, last I checked. Mental illness. To keep going along with something that's very clearly evil and sadistic and completely messed up, that's left a lot of people broken and homeless. And to think that's okay and that it doesn't affect you because you're winning, that would be called psychosis. And sociopathy would be the other word. Anyway, I would love to see some joy restored to this world, where people start doing things like playing Pokemon cards again, making up their own games, not just buying video games and being on their phones. But imagine you find out, you know, your wildest dreams come true, and you're the creator of all these amazing things that you thought somebody else made, but now nobody wants to see you, and now nobody wants to deal with you. In fact, you're given all this stuff. You're given everything that you've ever wanted. In a big kingdom, in a big castle. It's everything you ever could have wanted. And now nobody wants to deal with you because all you do is lie, cheat, swindle, treat people like crap. In other words, you got no true friends. So now you're all alone. That's the scenario. I don't wish that on anybody. I don't even wish that on evil people because of how sad that would be. Maybe they should experience that for a while just to learn that lesson, though. But imagine that. You got everything you want. You got all the money you could ever want. You're literally swimming in gold. And then you find out there's not one real trace of life in that space that cares about you, and vice versa. Imagine you went through this whole life and you didn't really care about anybody. You never loved. You never loved. You never saw anybody as yourself. It's a sad thing to think about. But how many people, after a long enough time in a place like that, buried in a tomb of hollow possessions, would finally start to realize, wait a minute, this doesn't matter. I have all the wealth I could ever want, yet I don't have any true wealth. I have all the stuff I could ever want. Everything I've ever wanted. I have all the money I ever dreamed about. It means nothing. I have nobody to share it with. Really think about that. So would you rather be that? Here's the scenario. Would you rather be that? Or would you rather be this happy, smiling guy who's homeless? Or girl, man or woman, but is sitting with his best buds on a sidewalk, just talking, just laughing. You know, maybe looked at as a loser by everybody else, but he's got a few of his true friends with him. And they're just figuring it out. If they have money that week, great. If they don't, they'll figure it out. Another one. Follow the clues, I guess. It's going to be one of those days. I just got my heart ripped out. But, you know, I'm kind of used to it. So it didn't hurt as bad as it usually does. And, oh, look. Well, so apparently now I'm a Pokemon card collector again, mainly the original Pokemon. And if there's time later, I'll explain the new rules that I came up with, which make it so pretty much anybody can play. And now here's the thing, you do bet a little bit of money if you want to, and it makes it fun, but it's nothing major. It's nothing that's gonna break the bank. And 333, I was getting that earlier, interesting. Got a lot of signs telling me it's gonna be just fine. Because here's the thing. What was it? They were called the principalities of this world, if I'm not mistaken. And basically the powers that be. I could be using that terminology incorrectly, but I don't think I am, but I might be. They can do a lot to you while you're in the flesh, so to speak, while you're in the realm. And you're under, supposedly, by the looks of it, their control. The ones with the money, the ones with the perceived power, which is really all it is. And you even still have a lot of these people who claim to believe in an almighty God. Well, if that's true, what makes you think that God, heaven, the spiritual realm in general, most people do believe in stuff like that to some extent. I ask, do you really? Do you really think that they don't see everything that's exactly going on? If you made a mistake, you made a mistake. I've made many of them. I had things said about me that were false accusations, many of them, earlier. It nearly had me in tears and I had to leave because I was about to have a breakdown because of what was happening. I just lost my everything. Temporarily. And because I know that my everything, my cat Artemis Grace, is in fact an eternal being who's a sovereign soul just like I am. And I know that many cats are, and many dogs, and many of the sacred creatures on this earth, which is why these demons who drive like, I guess I'll call them people who don't really give a shit about life around them at all. Because only something that was only concerned with itself would ever be driving around like the way that they do. And treating people the way that they do, and thinking that it's all about money, and that, oh, well, if you just have the right amount of money, or if you have a stable job and you have a nice house, then you deserve that kid. But the one that loves them, who literally went broke so they could see them and be with them and spend as much time with them as they could, well, only in a place like this, or worse, would that ever happen. Would no divine justice ever step in and say, no. Because that's not what the truth is. I know that I'm not a violent person. I know that I'm very capable of violence, and I teach other people to be. For free. Because I want everybody to be able to protect themselves or the one that they protect without having to worry about it. It's so that both myself and others that I train can learn to not be afraid in an ugly, sadistic world like this. And do so with as little violence as possible. I was accused earlier in a court of law, what is supposed to be a court of law, where you swear to tell the whole truth, not just part of the truth, the whole truth. So help you God. Whether you believe in God or not, you just swore to tell the truth. That means there's no wavering from that. That means you don't get to make things up and have it be all right in the long run. You betrayed yourself, you betrayed your soul, and you betrayed the one that you supposedly love. And why would God ever honor that? And if you do believe in God, well, whose God is bigger? The God of this world, which is basically money, or the true Almighty and all of heaven's forces that accompany that? And if you really think that there's no powerful forces that are very good and very true and very benevolent, then you haven't seen the other side. You don't know who's watching. And how do you know that all of this isn't happening exactly the way it is, so that everyone continuously proves who they are? Every day given a new chance to not be a liar, yet they continue to lie. But eventually, the timer is going to run out, and who you are, well, that's probably the truth about you with an entire lifetime. We all had time to work ourselves out, to work problems out, to try to come up with solutions like sane, compassionate, moral beings. One of the texts that was read that was used, I just got the letter A again. I've been seeing that a lot lately, along with the letter T. Story for another time. I had things said about me that not only weren't true, but also other things that weren't relevant to the situation. When I was on my backpacking trip, there was people that would come out at night to stalk and harass me. And I've also I've heard stories from other homeless people that this was being done to them as well. They've been harassed by police, they've been harassed by other people. I listen to people. I don't necessarily believe every word that comes out of their mouth, but I hear them out with empathy and compassion, because that's what you should do. And then I saw from experience for myself, which is the best way to find out if something's true. And there were people literally turning off their headlights, trying to scream their car straight towards me, literally trying to run into me when I was against the guardrail. I've had to shine my flashlight or jump out of the way or just stand there until they stop. But either way, these people get away with it. I had somebody who did it to me. They stopped right before they hit the back of my legs. And then they screamed by me, revving their engine, trying to threaten me, shaking their fist at me, screaming from their car. I happen to have a bottle of vinegar in my hand, which is a glass one, is a great self-defense weapon. If you got to break that all over them and get the hell out of there, no one has the right to put their hands on you. No one has the right to attack you, especially not in a vehicle. And with what some of these insane wackos do with their vehicles, I can't believe they're not all in jail. You're driving one of the most deadly, if not the deadliest, legal weapon in the world. You're talking about a shit box that has cost, I don't care what you drive, it's a shit box that has caused more injuries and more death than just about anything I know of. Very dangerous. And you can tell a lot about a person by the way that they handle one of those things. Same way as they would handle a gun, like an irresponsible moron. You don't have the right to intimidate people with your vehicle. You don't have the right to not look out for pedestrians trying to cross the street, whether or not there's a crosswalk or not. You idiot. It's the well-being of a person first and foremost. So when that text was read and I was talking about in self-defense, literally getting ready to kill one of these motherfuckers, which I would have had every right to, you try to run me down in your vehicle and I'm standing alone, unarmed. I have every right to defend myself, you jerk. And you want to find out how capable of that I am. Let's go. You don't want to find out that information. Believe me, demon. And that is what I call a demon, because you think you're the man. You start to think you're the man, don't you? You and your little fart box, putting along in your Mercedes. I don't give a crap what you drive. Look at me, look at all my money. Look at all my money. Yeah, well, you're bragging about the thing that has screwed this world up and caused more violence, more pain, more suffering, and more sorrow than just about anything else I can imagine. And that's who runs this world. I don't care what the law supposedly tells you. No, things do not get done in truth in a court of law because people lie all the time in a court of law. And they swear to tell the truth, which makes it even worse. I stood there and I told the whole truth just like I said I would. So help me God. And you better hope God doesn't help me when you lied. I told the truth even to my detriment. She gave me a chance. Hey, did you send these texts? Because anything could be faked like that. Somebody even decent with technology can make it look like you sent them texts you didn't. Seriously, it's not that hard. I said, yep, knowing it was going to totally screw me over. You know why? Because truth. Why should I be afraid when I stand in truth? What are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me? You've already ripped my heart out. You've already stolen my everything. But guess what? Guess what? I know that we're all eternal beings, including the animals, especially the animals, who are far better than us, yeah, and to us than most people ever will be. And you know where I live? The law says that they aren't treated like sentient beings. That makes a whole lot of sense with all the roadkill on the side of the road and the fact that you literally have these fucking idiots thinking they have the right to run down and mow down animals trying to cross the street. An accident's an accident, but you don't have the right to hit even a squirrel. You don't have that right. It's murder. So how about we flood the courthouses with all those issues next? Let's talk. You want to talk about threats? Let's talk about all the animals that have their livelihood threatened on a daily basis. Most people, you don't even have the right. Most people, in my opinion, if they're going to drive like that and they're going to do all this to the environment, you don't have the right to have an animal. You don't have that right because you don't treat them right. You don't go out and feed the birds. You don't care about animals at all. You don't take walks in nature. Okay? And I know there's people here that get this because you still have a heart. So at this point, demon or not, all religious beliefs aside, I have the right to any religious belief I want. Everyone else believes what the hell they want, right? Well, I don't like to believe things. I like to know things in truth, meaning they are correct and can be verified and can be proven. Instead of just, oh, hey, some woman said this about a man. He's violent. He raped me. And maybe he did, which is disgusting and should never be okay. But do you realize there's a lot of other stories I've heard of women who have made false accusations about that, and that is seriously messed up because now that guy, not making light of it, they went through rape, which is a horrible thing if that actually happened. I'm not denying that. That's a horrible thing. But now the guy who was falsely accused just went to jail for probably decades or at least years. Jail. And had to suffer against his will and miss out on his life and possibly his kids because of the accusations of a woman which couldn't even be proven in a court of law. Think about how wrong that is. It shouldn't be allowed, and it's not okay. It's not okay. And if you don't understand this message, that all things should be done in truth and love, then I know you're heartless. You realize how many people are looking around, people that actually are decent, people that still do have a heart, they're looking around making videos going, what the hell is wrong with people these days? What the hell is going on with people? They're like zombies. What in the hell is wrong with people? How can you do this? How can you just litter like this? How can you drive the way that you do? How can you continue to condone a truly sick society? A profoundly sick society, as the actual quote goes. That it is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And we've been there for a while now, and it's getting worse. A profoundly sick society. Think about when you realize something truly profound. And it's like a total epiphany. Oh my, the heaviness of it. Wow. I never, ever would have even dreamed that something could hit like that. Think about it. A profoundly sick society. As in unwell, as in mentally unwell, as in physically unwell, as in especially, in my opinion, spiritually very, very sick. Something medication cannot cure, because that's just the problem, isn't it? Instead of going deep into your heart, and true psychologists and true psychological masters, and not only that, true spiritual masters, true masters of the human mind, body, emotions, everything that goes with it. Telling the individual, well, this issue needs to be resolved through your own self. Yes, there may be other factors at play that are obviously, like any healthy person, in my opinion. I don't think it's just my opinion, though. There's a lot of other people that share this opinion. You take a look around you and you look at the environment, what's being done to that. The school system, the education system, the corrupt, immoral law system, known as the United States court system, the judicial branch, and a whole lot more. The military, you name it. And a lot of people in the military, you'd be surprised, have realized how corrupt even that is. To not question your orders, to be sent overseas to go do some violence to somebody, or to at least even sign up for it and be willing to, when you know nothing about what's truly going on or why you're being sent there, and your own family can't even know. You realize how that fucks people up? And the trauma, the severe trauma and therapy that they need, that they don't even get? True veterans of war and prisoners of war. And what's done about it? Do they ever get justice for the things that they had to do, thinking they were doing the right thing because they were sold the American dream? And now it's too late. Now they realized, oh my God, I was literally sent somewhere and I had to do these horrific deeds that had I known, I never would have done any of it. Because of money. Money and greed. And lies. Because when you truly love your environment and you truly love others, as a lot of people claim to do, they're liars, and I know they are, because if so many people loved, we would not have a world like this at all. This wouldn't happen to anyone. You have no idea how many people have contacted me, said, oh my God, years ago I didn't quite understand, but I literally see now that you were right. And it's not me that's right, it's the truth that's right. I'm the deliverer of the message. It's the truth itself, which is love itself. That is the right thing. And that is the truth. It's not me. All I can ever do is align myself with the will of the truth. That's it. Either you're in it, or you're out of it, or you're fully opposed to it. So people say, well, we don't have to tell the truth all the time. Or, it's okay to lie. No, it isn't. And here's why. As soon as you do that, you get a world that's a lie. Would you ever run a business that way, where it's okay to just kind of fudge the numbers, where it's okay to lie to your customers? As long as it works on your terms, would you consider that an ethical business? Because I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Don't be in business. How about that? I think it would serve a lot of people right if they did go out of business. In fact, it would serve a lot of people right if they were to lose everything. Oh, look at that. Didn't even know where I was going. Follow the clues. Another Yu-Gi-Oh card. Interesting. So now, again, I'm playing Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Cool. I'm going to have to start turning my hat backwards. Found a scooter, too. I asked for one. I found one. I found a mini scooter. Fits right into a backpack. Easy to carry. I love that thing. It's actually way more fun than driving, and you get way more exercise, and you actually get a really great balance workout. I don't care if people think I'm a loser. I'm healthy. How's that being a loser? I'm trying to enjoy the time, an otherwise very stressful time that, well, to be honest, I battled suicide for a very long time, and I still am, but I'm doing everything. I'm out in the woods right now, aren't I? That's called doing something about it. That's called actually making a real effort to heal. That's called making a good thing out of an otherwise really bad situation. That's called choosing love. When your everything in your ego is telling you to be hateful and to hate, and to just be pissed at so-and-so and to do this for vengeance and do that. Make this call, enact this threat, you got to do this thing, and it's all fear-based nonsense. How could that ever create a good outcome? How could that ever create a good world? Guess what? It won't, and it never, ever, ever, ever will. You know why? Because as soon, and you have the right to self-defense, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to not fight for what you love. But as soon as you start doing things that way, which is the way a lot of people do them, well, they lied about you, they did this treachery to you, so now you do it back to them. How does that make sense? Doesn't make sense. Because that is just going to be a repeating cycle where both of you lose. Then eventually, the exact truth of that will come out. Everything that's ever happened in this world has been recorded exactly as it is. So if you made mistakes, it would be in your best interest to really do the work and own up to it. And realize, hey, in my case, I can only speak for myself after what just happened. I had every right to be angry. Do I feel angry right now? No, I just feel very sad. And in a way, I feel sad for the individual who lied about me and didn't need to, once again. Somebody I used to catch in a lot of lies that other people are now texting me who know this individual that said they've always been a very cruel and nasty person. So if you think that you're going to get away with this, you're not. And it doesn't just matter what other people say about you. Because if you've changed and you've truly made those amends and you've done the work on yourself, which can take many years, it's a done deal. You're no longer that person. So you start to, what happens is you love people anyway, even though they've done you an immensity of wrong. Even though deep down, they probably know what they're doing is wrong. And if they don't, that's far worse. It is a great act of cruelty to take away an animal companion or child, because it's the same thing. You take care of an animal, you're their guardian, that's your child, okay? I've had people tell me it isn't. I think you have serious mental issues that need to be resolved, and you don't see animals as sacred, sentient creatures. I think that's a really deep, dark heart issue that needs to be resolved. Seriously. Get some help, for real. If you can't help yourself, look into seriously getting help, like somebody that actually knows what they're doing. I'm not talking about medication, because medication can't take care of that. You got to look within and you got to do the work, or it's not going to happen. It's like somebody asking for a pill, but they want to get in shape. Well, you got to go out and exercise, and you got to do it a lot. And you got to change your diet, and you got to change your whole lifestyle. You might have to change your job, and you might have to move. You remove what's standing in your way. So even to those who have wronged me in the past, even if you don't see it that way, like I said, I choose to love you anyway. I may not love you as deeply as I love others. Maybe someday that'll be different. Why would I ever want you to end up in hell, in a sort of hell that you created, where you realize finally that you're all alone, no one is there? You got everything you wanted. You won all the money. But now no one even wants to be with you because the truth is you had no real friends. Everyone saw what you continuously did to other people, and we literally tried to help you. There were people that tried to help you. Kindly. Literally understood what you were going through. See, a lot of people, what happens is they start doing some evil to somebody. They do something kind of messed up. And then everybody gets pissed at them, and yeah, rightfully so. But because other people are so cruel towards that mistake that they made while they were trying to learn, then what happens is they just start spiraling. You know why? Because they just figure, well, I already did this fucked up shit. So what happens is the human ego unfortunately takes over, and it just basically says something along the lines of, well, I must be this. I might as well just do some more fucked up shit because it's in defense of itself. So instead of apologizing and stopping the behavior, it just keeps going. And the more people try to fight against it and inform the individual that they're wrong, they enact this shield of stubbornness that causes them to get even worse. And then it gets worse and worse to the point where they don't even know what the truth is anymore. And they actually think that they were the one who's continuously been wronged. And that might have been the case. In which case, I do apologize to those individuals no matter where you're at. And even if you hate my guts and you're literally putting curses on me right now, I love you and I forgive you always no matter what, forever, because you can't destroy what I am. You cannot destroy an eternal being who has aligned themselves with the exact truth, regardless of whether or not it's beneficial at the time. You cannot destroy someone who has chosen to be unconditional love anyway, no matter what you did to them. What are you going to do to me? I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. I might not romantically be in love with you. I don't think I'm romantically in love with anybody. But, besides maybe my true twin flame and counterpart. But that's between me and them. I think a lot of people are going to find out they've had one all along, and it was just to see if they would find their way back to him. But, hey, you didn't hear it from me. You did, but you don't. I don't really want to go down that road right now because that could cause a lot of controversy, and I can't prove that to anybody, and I'm just being honest about that. But I do think that we all have one. Can't speak for everybody. I know that I do. And you will find your way back to them if you take the path of truth. That's my opinion. So there might be people that needed to hear that today. A lot of the best people do wind up alone in a world like this because this is a world where evil is allowed to go pretty much unchecked. Pretty much. And the truth is not fully known because of all the lies that everybody has told themselves and everybody else around them. So we're in this world of bullshit, playing a game of bullshit every single day. So what happens? Lies become exhausting. You get tired. You fall asleep. You wake up. You do it all again the next day. The bullshit starts all over again. You have Groundhog Day every single day to the point where you realize, if you have any experience at all with the other side, that time doesn't necessarily exist in the way that people think it does. And we're already in eternity. You have a body, but you're a spiritual being. It's like saying that somebody's their car. Well, that might have been a really damn good car that you took great care of, and it got you all around the country, and, it's all beat up now, and it doesn't look the best, it doesn't run the best. But it got you to where you were going, and you treated it right. You did the best you could. You made other things your priority because the car wasn't the most important thing. And that's like saying, oh, well, because you took that car to the junkyard and you jumped out and just decided to walk free, that, oh, you're a bad person. I would liken that to committing suicide. When somebody's vehicle has been so beat up and so traumatized and they are in so much pain and agony that they just say, you know what? F this. I am so done with this crap. How do these even get out here? Like what? It's like somebody's having a seance with grocery carriages. Look at this. It's an advertisement for the world. All this nature, and then it's just crap everywhere. You can't even pick it all up, even if you wanted to. I wish we could clean this whole world up. I literally wish I could just order everybody what to do without control, and I'm just be like, all right, well, hey, you know, you so-and-so, what do you small group of individuals think who decided to actually live in truth and love and honor and integrity? You know, you weren't perfect, but you actually like proved over and over again that you're truly morally responsible beings. How would you guys do the world? Oh, well, that's funny. I thought you would never ask, because I just so happen to have all these ideas and could probably have this fixed in a day, or at best a week, or at worst a week. If I had the ability to rearrange the world, I'd be like, first of all, we're going to do away with all the vehicles. You don't want to walk? Too bad. No more of this crap. It's caused way too much harm, way too much violence, way too much theft, way too much misery. All the vehicles, poof, gone. That's it. Done. I would never make a world where you were forced to pay for gasoline and pay out the ass for it, no less, just to get somewhere if you had an emergency. I would never make people pay to communicate with each other. I would never make it so that people have to live in all these different places in the world and not be able to see each other. Unless it's through FaceTime. What kind of crap is that? I mean, this place is, as it stands, it's quite literally a piece of garbage. This place is trash fuck. I mean, you can literally smell it when you go into certain places. Like this, like the world actually quite literally stinks like shit. A lot of people's actions towards each other stink like shit. Their lies stink like shit. They stink like shit. I even, oh my God, earlier when I was in the court, I was treated so poorly when I walked in. I had no idea there was a thing for a restraining order. I went in, I was the one who filed, and I received word that my hearing was at 10. I did all the paperwork, and I had confirmation. Literally crossed my T's, dotted my I's. I had everything prepared, all my documents printed out, the pictures, everything. I did my homework, as usual. Was it perfect? No, but I did a great job. And then I find out I'm there over an hour early to make sure everything's gonna, work out. And then I find out that there was a case that got bumped before mine, which involved me. And I was treated like a slave, like I didn't matter. I didn't get to, explain anything. It was really messed up. And that was, he left 3 times. I had gotten up to leave twice to check on the court hearing that was at 10 a.m. following that, just to make sure that that was going to proceed as normal. So that was why I got up. I also had to use the bathroom during that time, which is my right. And it was just literally made me look like some sort of jerk off. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is this world. This literally should be on a commercial, and some other reality is like, don't come to this place. This is an awesome man who has treated so many people with gentleness, kindness, love, honor, and respect. He has trained so hard to be the best that he can be. He studied. He wrote things down. He loves his kiddo more than people can even fathom. And this is how he's treated. Watch this scene as he walks into this courtroom and he's treated like a peasant, even though he's a king from another world. Oops. Oh, did I say that out loud? Was that the truth? Oops. Sorry, I know people hate hearing the truth these days. Better refrain. There's a quote, a king masquerades as a beggar. Something along the lines of to find out who truly loves them. Or who truly has love, or something along those lines. I can't remember the exact quote. I think that's going on in a lot of places in this world, to be honest with you. Many who have proven themselves throughout eternity as being truly kind, wise, rational, sane, moral beings who deserve much better treatment, and they're not getting that treatment. Tried telling people for a long time now, family is everything, love is everything. Your true friends equal everything because they are your family, and without it, we have nothing. It doesn't matter how much money you have when you got no friends and you got no family. You're all alone. And a lot of people, the irony is the people that think they have the most friends are going to find out that their friends are fake and their family's fake, and it's all going to disappear, just like God said in the Bible. It's a place where rust and moths corrupt. It's a place where things become corrupted, and you can see that very obviously. If this were a healthy reality, things would never rot. They would never deteriorate. There would be no lies. There would be no putting up with it. Nobody would be getting hurt. There would be no suffering. There would be no mental torture. There would be no psychological torture. There would be no physical torture. It literally wouldn't happen. And it's all a result of lying. I was told Mother Earth is actually, and shown more than once, and other people have talked about this as well. I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but as far as I know, there's a real plan. And people have free will, and why would you ever want to see anybody fail? A lot of us, we're tough. We can take the hits, but they're proving everything they are right now by their every action. You are what you do repeatedly. You're not what you say, not necessarily. You are when you do what you say, and that includes making threats, which is why I don't make them, because if I'm going to make a threat to somebody, I mean it. Told the person over and over again, no threat, ma'am. No threat, ma'am. I am not threatening you. I'm only telling you what I am capable of, because that's the truth, and I am not a liar. If somebody says, hey, are you capable of extreme violence? The answer is yes. Does that mean I'm going to do violence? No, I never want to do violence. Why would I want to do violence? Why? I'm not fucked up. I'm not screwed up in the head or in the heart. I don't have serious issues like that. I hate violence. I hate seeing other people get hurt, which is probably the only reason you would ever see me do any violence in self-defense of somebody that did get hurt. Sometimes, most of the time, even hell, when it's myself and I'm getting hurt, I'll just take the damage. I know I can fuck somebody up, but I still don't do anything because I'm like, I can take it. Why am I going to mess their face up? And you know what? Basically, they'll get exhausted because they don't train the way that I do. I know that they're going to run out of wind because they're full of hot air. They're going to lose all their steam and they're going to defeat themselves. So why the fuck would I even fight back? And yes, I'm truly capable of that. I've done it many times. Why would I even fight you when I know I can destroy you in one hit? Why would I even bother? And then you would just hate me more. So I love you no matter what you do to me because I'm more powerful than you are. In essence, I am more powerful than other people because I can say that and because I can mean it, because of my capacity to love and to forgive and to care about another being other than myself. Therefore, I am stronger than you'll ever be. And if there is a real heaven, I would think they would have all said, amen. Because you can't have a place called heaven if everyone isn't like that. You can't. Because it's a free will choice. You can't force other people to see. You can't force other people to be what is right, to be what is true. You can't force other people to become kind. They have to see what's going on, if they're even capable of that. That's supposing they're real. And that's another thing we can talk about later. A thing that doesn't feel isn't real. I like that. That just hit me. A thing that doesn't feel isn't real. Maybe you can become real. But just like Pinocchio, who is not a real boy, his nose grows every time he lies, and he keeps lying until he becomes a real boy. Because he develops a true awareness and a true conscience and consciousness, and that's what makes somebody real, having a heart. Actually having the capacity to care about somebody else. Love. And people say love doesn't exist. That's a load of just crap. It does exist. It's just very rare in a place like this. Not so rare on the other side. And then you got people who believe in aliens who are like, oh, well, humanity is just an alien experiment. Okay, well, sure. If you really believe that, fine. I mean, you can believe what you want, but how would a civilization ever hold up and ever develop, you know, whether you want to consider them aliens or otherworldly beings or not, how the hell would they ever figure that out without love? You're going to get a society that divulges into chaos every single time. It's going to continuously happen. Chaos, discord, disharmony. Someone I used to date claimed to be the real Eris. The real Eris, if you're familiar with mythology. Didn't know much about her. Kind of took her word for it, because I'm not going to tell somebody, oh, hey, no, you're not. They're saying that for a reason. Somebody once told me, when people tell you who they are, believe them. I'm not so sure about that yet, but it seems like there's some truth to it, like a lot of things. It's just complicated, as usual. Turns out it's the goddess of discord and disharmony. Caused a lot of problems at weddings and other social events. Was a deceiver, aka a liar. And somebody who caused a lot of pain. A lot of it. And laughed about it, because it's what they do. Well, whatever that is, I'm the exact opposite of that. Like literally the exact opposite. And the interesting thing is, no matter how long it goes on, a lie can never destroy the truth. Ever. That's like saying that a breeze, or even a powerful gust of wind that's temporary, can destroy a diamond that's been refined in the fire, or a sword that's been folded over thousands and thousands of times and hammered and put through the fire and hammered again and then dipped right into ice cold water and tempered into literally like an indestructible sword or an indestructible diamond or a very difficult to destroy diamond. That's what truth is. The only thing that can destroy that is something stronger, a greater truth. In which case it would equal that to be a lie in terms of quality. Because to say that that is the best quality, when something can easily destroy it, it makes it untrue. So what do you have to be afraid of in the long run? How the heck can someone who lies all the time or when it's convenient, sometimes tells the truth because it's convenient, or to get other people to believe their lies, how can they ever destroy you? It might look like they're winning for a very long time, and they might be. But eventually they're going to realize they can't do anything to you anymore. Because no matter what they do, no matter how treacherous it is, you just always love them. And even though they don't want to hear this, you feel such a deep pity for who they are, and you see who they could have been, but you see who they chose to be. And you know that they could change that today if they wanted to, but they just don't. You know that they could do the right thing if they decided to, but they don't. And your heart literally hurts. It breaks over and over again until it can't break anymore. Like you could swear it was made of gold or literally made out of diamond. It doesn't mean you don't feel, it doesn't mean you don't love. You love so intensely, and your love is so powerful. It's so powerful that you see right through it all. It literally shows you the way. It shows you when somebody's a deceiver. It shows you what's right and what's wrong. And you love so powerfully and so fiercely that others actually hate you. And this is the exact thing that I do believe Jesus went through. Supposing that story is entirely true. I think there was a lot that was left out, and he went through way more than that. And possibly his name wasn't even Jesus. Who knows? I would want to know from the one who lived it and hear their story, because that would be the accurate one. I can't prove it or disprove it. But I can tell you this, from what I've seen from a lot of humans, I fully believe that they would try. I can definitely see them trying to destroy a good man like that, a great man like that. I could totally see them lying about him, trying to get him in trouble, trying to threaten him with things that he cares about to control him, and doing anything it takes from the shadows to destroy him and destroy and defile his character. And him turning around and saying, you know what, I love you eternally forever anyway. Because that's what I've always been. Love. And what did they do? They nailed him to a T. Because he was the truth. That's how you become the truth. And then they crucified him. Because of the hatred and the discord and the disharmony and all the lies that go with it, that was within them. That became who they are and who they were. He was the truth, and they were the lie. And I believe that's what every spiritual master, spiritual man, every man in general who is true and authentic and of the light is going to walk that path. But it may be in a different time, and it may be different, but eventually you'll get there, because if you haven't been through that yet, maybe you don't want to, but you're not the Excalibur. You're not that type. It's not really for me to judge, but I couldn't really trust somebody who hadn't been through something like that. You would have to prove it. Like, anybody can be great when things are going all their way and you live in a land of light where everything works out perfectly. Not saying that wouldn't be awesome, it certainly would be. But you find out who you are in darkness, because that's when you see your own light. And you see the other lights out there, and there's many of them. Different variations of light. You guys are everywhere. Comparatively, no. There's a lot of darkness everywhere, and there's a lot of really messed up, screwed up people everywhere who do a lot of evil, even if they don't think they do. A lot of feathers on the trail as well. Another one. 2 of them here. 3. Found a whole huge pile of them the other day out in the woods. On my paths, I also keep getting the letter T. You'll probably see it in these videos. It keeps showing up a lot. A lot of things telling me I'm going the right way. And I still question it. I got signs on synchronicity, so that means, blah, 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 blah. No, I use discernment always. It's keeping a good level head with a sense of humility and a true sense where it's not like, I'm going to feel like crap about myself or be ashamed or belittle myself, but I'm going to have an accurate, realistic view of who and what I am in my relationship to everything else around me. Even if I hate this place. I literally, to say I love this world is a lie, because I don't. I detest everything that this is, because it is so anti-freedom, and it is so anti-truth, and so anti-love, and you could say so anti-God, that if there is a God, I consider myself a godly man. I know there's other godly men in the world as well who do live by these principles, at least to some extent. So therefore, I am not a mix for what this is. I don't belong here, because I appreciate goodness. I do things with honesty and integrity. I care about other people deeply, even when they wrong me. I care about animals, and I don't want violence in my life, even though I'm capable of it. Therefore, I don't get along so well in this world, because this world is full of the opposite of everything I just said. And it's everywhere. And just because I am true eternal love doesn't mean I have to be okay with it. I'm not okay with it. I detest it. Just as the same way as I detest lying. I hate it. I don't expect perfection from anybody. Just honesty. Not perfect either. But even that becomes an excuse, doesn't it? Oh, I'm not perfect, so therefore I can, No, you should always be striving for that perfection. I'm not saying be a perfectionist, but it's like, why would you do, like, if you think about it, anything you do outside of love is a lie. Anything you do outside of truth is very obviously a lie. And it can never get a good result. It never has. You see evidence of it everywhere. It never has ever once brought about a truthful, loving, benevolent result. So why would anyone continue down that road? Ignorance would be one of the answers. Ignorance to the truth. A refusal to see, even when it's pointed out. Stubbornness. believing your own lies, believing the lies of others, and refusing to do the work. Religion, handing over your sovereignty and the keys to your heart to a God and saying, here, you do the work for me. I don't need to do this. Jesus loves me and Jesus saved me. Well, yeah, but you still got but you still got to work on yourself there, guy. You probably have a lot of work to do if you think that's how it goes. Because no, you don't just get a free ticket to heaven because Jesus loves you. All right? You got to be a really, really, really great person who truly loves others and treats animals right and many other things on that list. Or guess what? You don't get in. You don't like it? Well, would you go into a business? Because I know how people get all in an uproar as soon as it involves their money. Oops. Shouldn't have said that. I know that can be really offensive to people. Whoopsie daisy. So anyway, I know how people get in an uproar about all that. Something that should practically mean nothing compared to what actually matters. And, in this world, for most people, that's their religion. That's their God. It truly is. Actions say everything. It doesn't matter what you say is your God. That is their God because that's what they worship and that's what runs their lives. That's what governs their existence. Therefore, the truth says it doesn't matter what you say. Money is your God, and you have proven that over and over again continuously with every one of your actions. Just about. Or sex was your God. Materialism. Doesn't matter. We are what we do repeatedly. You become what you do repeatedly because that's the truth. Eternity. We're ETs, as in we're not from here. Those of us who are real. Our home world is nothing like this, actually. How ridiculous would that be? Anyway, ETs who earn it. Why? Because that's the truthful way to do things. Eternity. ETs who earn it. That's the reality of it. Anything else would be a lie. It would be fake. Why would you ever want that? If anybody can do anything they want, you get chaos. It can never be that way. Ever. That's not freedom. That's chaos. Freedom is having rules. Real ones that exist for a reason. Laws that you do not break or violate. And if you do, you answer for it. And it has to be that way. And that is freedom. Otherwise, you get chaos, where everyone just does whatever the hell they want. And oh, look at that. You want to do whatever the hell you want? Guess where you go? Hell, because that's what your world turns into. And then you don't know what the truth is anymore, and that's a scary place to be. It's a scary place to be. In my opinion, this is one of the best messages I ever gave. This is one of the best videos I ever did to date. I hope even there's just a few people who this uplifts. I hope you hear this and you'll know. It's not for you. Move on. I choose love regardless. I choose love and I choose infinite forgiveness if that's what it takes. It doesn't mean I'm going to put up with it. Doesn't mean I'm going to let myself be abused. But I choose love anyway, despite what my ego wants, which sometimes it just wants to be vindictive. Sometimes it wants to be spiteful and hateful. Sometimes I stumble and I don't get it right, but I'm not letting it be that way. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. Always. Have a great day, everybody.